Hello, this is Midday News. Thanks for joining us. The Midday Visitors, Tourism and Cultural Bureau, or House Tumbuna, is a hub of information and the focal point for tourism destination, rich history and artifacts about the province. Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Belden Nama, was in the province and took a tour of the confined museum at the House Tumbuna. He was impressed with how the hub is being maintained. However, he also learned of the constraints and challenges that the Tourism Bureau is faced with, including transportation, human resources, funding, and land ownership. Minister Nama provided some positive feedback, including meeting their transportation needs, ensuring that he will look into having permanent position in place and settle land issues. Prime Minister James Marape returned yesterday from Samoa following the conclusion of the 27th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. Marape said some of the issues discussed during the meeting were the impact of climate change, ocean protection, and trade. When speaking to the media after his arrival from Apia, Samoa yesterday afternoon, following the conclusion of the 27th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, Marape said the meeting for the first time was hosted by a Pacific Island country and attended by all 56 Commonwealth states. Marape said the states came together with a prime objective to promote inter-Commonwealth trade and strengthen the Commonwealth relationship, which the outcome was a success.
56 nations came together. There's a rejuvenation taking place in the Commonwealth family of nations, knowing what's happening in terms of geopolitics, what's happening in other parts of the world where peace is in high demand, in Eastern Europe, in Middle East, and elsewhere. The Commonwealth family of nations decided to come together more stronger, promoting inter-Commonwealth trade, inter-Commonwealth relationships.
Marape said some of the issues discussed during the meeting were the impact of climate change, ocean protection, and trade.
Sessions rotated around contemporary threats like climate change, ocean protection, but also moved into space of trade, commerce, and relating from within this family of nations. So
Marape said Papua New Guinea from that meeting affirmed its commitment to collectively work with the Commonwealth states to ensure 1.5 billion youths are given support in terms of preserving and nurturing our youths to be productive citizens.
Our commitment to collective action that ensures 1.5 billion youths given stronger support in as far as all nations are concerned. The Commonwealth family all agreed that youths are our future and all governments must do whatever they can to preserve our youths, protect our youths, and to nurture youths to be productive citizens for their countries and collectively for the Commonwealth diaspora, globally speaking.
Meanwhile, Marape said Papua New Guinea also has signed a framework agreement with Vanuatu for deeper exchanges in education, health, trade, and management of airspace, among others, and create a dialogue of economic discussions with other Commonwealth states. Meanwhile, Marape said the domestic terrorism bill that will be tabled in Parliament come the November sitting will ensure that police officers are fully protected while carrying out their policing duties. Marape made these remarks following a range of questions that were asked about what the government is doing to ensure the continuous tribal fighting in Enga comes to a halt.
Passing a law that will give full protection to a policeman in the face of danger so that they could be out there doing their job without fear or favor, especially fear of loss of life in their life or loss of job. In some cases, as we see today, policemen out there doing their job, But once someone loses life or is assaulted and they take them to court, policemen and policewomen then lose the job also. So we have to be fair. Policemen and women must be protected so that they, without fear or favor, are out there in the face of danger doing their constitutional duty. So.
Valoka Catholic Parish 100 years centenary celebration was hailed a success over the weekend. Locals began observing this milestone mission on October 24th and concluded with an even bigger celebration on Sunday, October 27th. Catholic faithfuls from all over West New Britain converged at Paris to observe this significant achievement for over 4 days. Other New Guinea islanders travel in from neighboring provinces to be part of it as well. 2 days of celebrations were held at Kalung Sub-Parish and the remaining days were celebrated at Valoka Catholic Parish. Member for Nakanai and Minister for Oil Palm Francis Maneke and Member for Talesia Freddie Kumai were guests of honor. In regional news, when Russia invaded Ukraine nearly 1,000 days ago, it sent the country's population into a state of flux. Some of those who fled the conflict and came to Australia now face a more certain future thanks to a recent visa announcement by the federal government. It's been celebrated by a gathering of Ukrainians in Sydney today.
Sydney's Ukrainians celebrate culture, dancing, and most importantly, food.
Ukrainian food can tend to be a little bit carb heavy, but it's very, very tasty.
Since Russia's invasion in 2022, the community has shown its resilience. Many here still have family in Ukraine. Some returned from the front line not long ago.
As the hits were landing around us, one of them hit me directly in the legs, and I was just lying there waiting for death. I was just lucky enough that the guys were nearby and they evacuated me.
29-year-old Victor lost both his legs just 2 months ago, but says he's proud to be here.
The day that we stop to celebrate various holidays, birthdays and weddings is the day that we will lose.
Earlier this month, the federal government announced that some Ukrainians here on temporary humanitarian visas will now be able to access a new pathway to residency in Australia. It means they'll receive more benefits and eventually be eligible for citizenship.
With this announcement, that stress is gone, and those Ukrainians that wish to stay now are confident that they can build new lives here in Australia.
Like 17-year-old Nika Kovalenko, who arrived 2 years ago.
Getting this permanent residency means a lot for me, just for the understanding that I will have a proper education in the area that I want, in the university that I want, in the country that I want.
Finally settled after so much uncertainty.
Regional areas will play a key part in Labour's plan to build 800,000 new homes over the next decade. But in many rural areas, critical infrastructure like water simply aren't available to support those developments. Now developers are warning thousands of homes won't be built unless money is pumped in to help connect the regions to water.
When Lauren Palmer and her young family moved into a new home in the northeast Victorian town of Tangambalanga, the lack of water pressure became an instant problem.
When the pressure's bad, so especially in summer, in that sort of evening time when everyone's getting tea ready, it's terrible.
The expensive sprinkler system they had installed barely works. She's had to buy a new washing machine that runs on low water pressure, and the bath took so long to fill they stopped using it.
So we've given up on that entirely and the bath's now used as storage.
Now the future of her new community is uncertain.
Building in this Tangambalanga estate has come to the end of the road. This street should be leading to at least 200 new homes. But without the guarantee of adequate water and sewage infrastructure, construction has quite literally come to a dead end.
We could have substantially developed the balance of the estate over that period of time if we'd had the appropriate water infrastructure here.
Water infrastructure issues are putting a halt on crucial housing developments across the region. A 10-minute drive away in Leneva, this paddock is ready to house 400 new homes, and developers say they could build thousands more. But those plans are on hold.
We're ready to go here in terms of we've got an approved development plan. We don't have the pipes to connect to.
The need for more pipes here has been known by council and state agencies for years, but the water corporations charged with providing them simply don't have the money to do so.
I think we would say that there needs to be more funding for critical infrastructure, particularly for the next 10 years to cater for growth.
These estates are a crucial part of the state government's target of building 800,000 homes in a decade. It approved an emergency increase in some water corporations' debt caps last year and says it remains on track to deliver its promise.
This is work that will continue with the Planning Minister, with local councils and of course on the really important issues of essential infrastructure.
But developers don't share in that confidence.
The only way these problems can be resolved in any sort of reasonable time frame is for state government to step up and provide extra funding to enable the infrastructure to be developed.
Lauren Palmer just wants to see her new neighbourhood grow.
Until they can fix the water issue, I don't see it happening.
In sports, TVWAN women's team are the new queens of Queensland softball after shocking long-time defending champions home gold in a nail-beating grand final to win 3-2 at the Collabong field in Kokopo yesterday. The Kokopo ladies played simple but tactical game both in battling and fielding to restrict home runners and kept them in check throughout the 7 innings. Meanwhile, in the men's, it was a Port Moresby affair. Pom Maros put on a dominant performance to cruise past Rasa 6-1. Tournament director Ian Sowini said that despite being faced with numerous challenges at the start, he is happy the championship ended successfully. And that ends our midday news. Join us at 6 for more.